If you've ever struggled with a mental health issue, maybe an addictive disorder or trauma background, I have a simple to easy to use tool that can help you to feel better. Join me on my walk as I tell you more about it. Hi, Dr. Donna here. With over 30 years of clinical experience as a social worker, there aren't very many issues that I haven't worked with. One of the things that I noticed about many of my clients, whether they're suffering from depression or anxiety, perhaps they were abused as a child or have a problem with alcohol and drugs, is that most of them don't take very good care of themselves. And the more I started to look into it, the more I started to see the connection between the level of self-care and feeling better about ourselves and being better able to take care of ourselves to improve the quality of our life. So I started thinking about how can I develop a tool that can help my clients feel better. And I came up with the idea of the self-care inventory. Let me tell you a little bit more about it and how you can use it to help improve the quality of your life. So the basic idea of the self-care inventory is that I thought about 6 common areas of self-care for human beings. Just as plants need water and sun, a garden needs to be tended to thrive, there are things that we need to do to take care of ourselves. And I developed a scale that a client can use to subjectively assess their level of self-care. So scoring from 1 to 10, 1 being low and 10 being my self-care is really high, I work with clients to subjectively score their self-care on these areas. The nice thing about the tool is you can apply it to a specific time period, such as the last week, or generally speaking, or even a day, and it gives you useful feedback that you can then use to help improve your self-care. So let me talk to you a little bit more about each of those specific areas and how you can then use them. So the first area, number 1, is to ask yourself, what is your level of self-care relative to getting the sleep that you need? Now, all of us can define what healthy sleep is for us differently. It may be getting 8 hours a night. It may be not waking up at night. It could be defined in many different ways. But generally speaking, you want to assess from 1 to 10 on what your level of sleep is. And from that, you can then start to look at ways that you can improve that level if it's an area that you want to work on. Number 2 looks at what is the level of self-care relative to healthy eating. And again, you score yourself from a 1 to 10. Healthy eating can be defined in many different ways, just like sleeping. It could be having 3 meals a day, starting out with breakfast, limiting sugar, however you define it. So you score yourself relative to how well you're doing with what is the ideal you have for eating healthy. And that helps you to see ways that perhaps you can make improvements because that will help you feel better. Number 3 looks at your level of exercise. So as the first 2, how well are you doing at taking care of yourself in terms of exercising? Exercising could be going to the gym, it may be doing a home workout routine, it may be brisk walking, it doesn't really matter. It's really about the way that you define it. So you want to score yourself from 1 to 10 and then look at, are there ways that you can improve your level of exercise, because that can help you to feel better. Number 4 is surprisingly an area that people have a lot of difficulty with, and that involves your level of self-care relative to doing fun, creative things. That could be playing music, drawing, watercoloring, engaged in sports, but whatever is fun or creative to you. And it's fascinating to me how when people get stressed out, that's one of the top areas they cut back on. And so again, scoring yourself from 1 to 10 about doing fun, creative things, however you define it, can help you to see if there's ways that you can improve that area to help yourself feel better. So number 5 looks at how do you stay connected to supportive, positive people that care about you. This is an incredibly important aspect of self-care. And so you'll take a look at yourself and think about the quality of your relationships and how well you stay connected to the people that you care about, but that also care about you. That can be defined differently just like all the other ones, but this is also an area where people frequently cut back on when they start feeling depressed or anxious or just struggling with stress. So you can look at this area and start realizing that when you start connecting to people that care about you, that can revitalize your spirits almost immediately. The last area is looking at self-care relative to meaning and purpose in life. This can involve going to church, praying, meditating, maybe reading inspirational books. It can be defined in many different ways. But finding meaning and purpose in our life, especially when we're struggling, is actually very, very important to helping us feel better about ourselves and to have more hope and to help us to be more proactive at working through some of the challenges we have. I hope by now you've given some thought to using the self-care inventory. Of course, the 6 items I listed aren't the only aspects of self-care, but they're very common and important ones. I encourage you to customize it in any way that's important to you. In terms of scoring it, you can look at individual areas or look at the scale globally. There isn't a number that says your self-care is good if you're over that and it's bad if you're under that. But I do have a lot of clients when I ask them what level they think they should have on each individual scale, they usually say around 7. So you can determine if you score 5 on something, maybe that's fine for you, or maybe it indicates that it's something that you want to work on. So I encourage you to customize it and use it in a way that is meaningful for you. The self-care inventory is not designed to be a tool for you to look at how you've not been taking care of yourself and to beat yourself up. That defeats the purpose. Instead, it's a source of feedback that you can use to start making positive changes in your life that will help you to feel better and help you to better address some of the challenges you have in your life. I'll put more information about the self-care inventory in the description below, and I encourage you to use it. I'll see you next time because I have to finish my self-care of exercising, which is why I'm going on this walk in the desert. I'm so happy that you were able to join me. I'll see you next time.